Okay, back to the warrior, the Titan. Let's see, what have we done since last time? We implemented weapon swap. We have weapon swap to run Hammer of the Gods. What you do to do that is under Hammer of the Gods here, I think when you assign it, it comes like this, 1 and 2. And you just want it to only use the second weapon swap. So you click that off, and that way when you have your shield out and you hammer, he automatically switches weapons, and then you can either raise shield and run away, or if you're in the middle of a map and you do that on a rare, you're gonna wanna hammer and then raise shield right away, because you're gonna be stuck without you're gonna be stuck like this without a shield, so for a couple seconds. So you raise shield and it pops your shield right back on. Then obviously Stampede. When you switch to Stampede, you do the opposite. You take off the second one and you make it so immediately when you hit Stampede, it switches to the shield. So, but it takes about a second in between. So you don't want to get caught in the middle of a rare or a fight with your shield off. So I use raise shield. It's instant. So there's that. Now, when you switch to the weapon swap, you're going to want to utilize these. This is a little bit more advanced, but you just work your way into it slowly, and you basically spec out your different weapon swaps for the hammer. This is the weapon swap here. It's a lot of damage, just basically pure glass cannon damage. Everything is revolving around making that hammer hit as hard as possible. And then on your main weapon swap, it's as tanky as possible. So all your max res, and well, this is kind of different. I'll go over this in a second, but skill speed and block chance and armor and block chance. Anywhere where you see red here, instead of this tan line, you see sort of a red like this, red line, tan and red. That's my shield setup. So let's see, anything else we need to go over as far as that goes? You just basically, you pick the stuff you want for the different weapon swaps. You do have to unassign points. So I think instead of the main passives, you want to unassign about 20 of those and then divvy them up between your different weapon swaps. So it's a little bit complicated. It's 100% not necessary, but when you Hammer of the Gods with this, 2 weapons, you can kind of tailor these to elemental damage and melee skills and stuff like that, as opposed to your main weapon, which is going to be just big damage, for the Stampede. So Stampede, I have not found the attack speed on the weapon to matter too much. It might matter a little bit, but mostly the thing you notice is the actual more attack speed in this. I don't think this applies it to the weapon. I don't think the weapon speed has anything to do with it. I could be wrong, but somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But I've tried many different weapons, and they all kind of start, stampeding about at the same time, about half a second. And what really affects it is going to be skill speed, so that kind of shortens that animation. Without the skill speed, it's very noticeable. So, and what you want to anoint your amulet with is right here, acceleration. 10% increased skill speed and 3% movement speed. That's, on my starter amulet, I still have my amulet from when I basically started maps. I basically got it because it has life, strength, and 50% armor. The fire res is, I don't want to say negligible. It does help, but this amulet could be much better, and I did not want to waste this fear. This fear is, I believe, 40x or 50x, so you don't just want to waste this on any amulet. The anointment I have on this amulet right now is Blurred Motion. Let's see what that even is. Blurred motion is attack speed and accuracy rate. So it's 5% attack speed. That's when I thought attack speed helped Stampede, and now I don't. So this is pretty much worthless. But this is what's next. Acceleration. That's going on my next amulet. So that should make Stampede way better. 10% skill speed is huge. So, and obviously you would never get anywhere near this node without the anointment. So the closest we have are these nodes here. So, but you want to get some. You don't even need any. I mean, you can use Stampede without it, but it's just so much faster. You do not want to get stuck in a chaos bloom, like of the blooming flowers, the purple ones. You don't want to get stuck in those starting to Stampede like that for 1 or 2 seconds or whatever, and everything explodes and you die. So you want to hit Stampede and he gets the hell out of dodge. So there's that. I mean, let's see what the anointment even is. The anointment is going to be fear. And it is 50 exalts. So I have everything else. I have these ones are the other ones you need. I have a couple of those. So the fear is pretty rare. It's hard to find. Or you can take these and reforge them. Reforge 3 of them into the higher one. I think I need 3 of these to make 1 fear. So these are, I'm rolling them all up, and what you end up with is paranoia. I don't know where my paranoias went, but the highest I've been able to roll up is paranoia so far, I believe. Anyway, there's that little spiel about the anointment. That's the end game goal, is that acceleration anointment. So let's see, new weapon. Couple new weapons. I exalt slammed this one in some weird way. I forgot how I did it, but I was just trying to profit craft and make some profit, and I wound up with this, and I looked at it, and it is actually really serious for a Avatar of Fire build with hammer. I mean, high fire damage roll, elemental damage. I put these, I forgot what I used. I think I used some of these. I used 2 of these. 30% increased elemental damage right here instead of the physical damage. So, I mean, this thing hits hard with hammer. So plus 5 to level of all melee skills. That's huge too. You're only just momentarily using this weapon to use the hammers, and really the hammer is for the ignite. So that's why it's this elemental damage, fire damage. The physical is okay. It helps with the hit of the. I mean, it helps with everything, but it converts to fire. But anyway, that big fizz roll is helping with the initial hit, and then everything else is helping with the ignite too. So anyway, that's that little spiel. Everybody who watches these videos knows I'm not an expert, but this hits hard. This was my old mace before I got this one, so I just threw it on. It's not bad. It could I could replace this with another one like this. So the ignite damage on hammer is 110,000. No, that's not right. Let's see. Yeah, I've had this up to 123,000. I'd have to look into what I changed. I did something, but the ignite damage can get up pretty high. 110,000. I've had it up to 123,000 right here. Like I said, I don't know what I changed, but it still hits like a truck. I hit a T15 or T16 boss today for 2.5 million and one-shot him. One ignite did 2.5 million, so it took like 5 or 6 seconds. So it's not like and every boss is different, so it's not like a big hit or big killer yet, but it can, Everything is trash still. Everything is like less than a divine. This was 2.5 divines. So, and I'm just trying to get chaos resistance. The only thing really missing now, I'm 81, 80, and I actually have an empty jewel here that I've been looking on the trade site for a lightning 2 max lightning res jewel with some other shit on it. And that way I'll just be able to get this one up to 81 as well. This is cold. I could get cold up to 81, but I have to fool around with this. This is in the weapon swap, and I ran out of these, and it got complicated, so I just left it. Jewels, max res and magnitude of ignite, basically. And armor and block chance and rage on hit. Just some random shit. Like I said, everything is kind of cheap and shitty. But I'm basically solo self-found. Really all I've found, or really all I've bought, is the main pieces, which I save up my exalts or even divines. I've dropped like 4 raw divines this season, I guess you'd call it. And I traded for like, I think I've traded for a few more divines, but and just blown them on whatever. Converted them to exalts and exalt slammed shit, and just, you know, they're all gone now. But this is what's left. So I probably blew through a couple divines worth of exalts just crafting hammers and stuff like that. So I mean, the gear is not terrible, just mostly just dual res gear with strength and life, and you wind up with 467 strength, about 4k life, and max block, 80% fizz damage reduction, and max res. Aside from this, these are next to go. The boots are terrible. I just got them a long time ago because they had the 30 faster run or 30 movement speed. They could have these exact same mods plus 20 strength or 30 strength or whatever, and chaos res, like 15 chaos res, and then you put a 7 chaos res in here, and that puts you up to like 20 something, and that's, you know, 60 chaos res. And then my amulet can have some chaos res. This could have chaos res. This could have chaos res. It's just I need to farm some more divines. So that's what we're in the process of doing right now, is farming divines. Let's see. Gonna run through a map just to show Stampede. The Stampede is now area. We have a lot of area. It's, let's see, what's the area? It's probably 4.5 meters on the slam and the explosion. It is 5 meters. Not bad. 5 meters is pretty good. You can get it up to like, I've gotten it up to like 5.5 or maybe even 6. I can't remember, but I just sacrificed so much. It was kind of terrible. I was not tanky at all. I had to sacrifice a lot of block chance and everything to hit 6 meters. And here's a node. Here's some nodes. There's a bunch of nodes somewhere down here for, you know, that's just way too far. So it's too much sacrifice, and I found a pretty comfortable balance at that 5 meter mark, the 5 meter explosions. It doesn't explode the whole screen, but you'll see it's pretty close. Definitely livable. Let's see. Do a savannah with a little boss here. Show you the... do I have any? I have 14% rarity on in this area on the tower. And then this is just a bunch of ailments. This takes care of the ailments here. This time of need, every 7.5 seconds it gets rid of all the ailments, so I don't really find this to be too much trouble. Extra fire, 81% fire res. It could be better, but I don't think it's going to hurt us, so let's try. Worst I could do is die, so. Savannah's a pretty good map for Stampede. There are certain maps that are terrible for Stampede, and certain maps that are better. So, and like I said, the wind-up time, of Stampede, it could be obviously 10% faster or whatever, which I'd imagine it's pretty noticeable when you're talking half of a second or a quarter of a second or whatever. It starts to get pretty noticeable. If there was no delay on Stampede, it would be so overpowered. People can't believe, if you could just Stampede around the map permanently, it would be insane. Everyone would be playing Titan, so they had to put some kind of a buffer in there. I mean, the big tankier mobs don't just die instantly. They don't just die right away, but sometimes they do, and then a couple stampedes and they'll be dead. So you might have to backtrack a little bit, a couple times. But if your explosions pop off, if everything pops the right way, everything does die. I mean, this is a T15, but it's not a real legit T15 where they're like, you know, 70% increased life and energy shield and fire resist and all kinds of stuff. These monsters can get a lot crazier than this, where Stampede kind of falls off, but you just got to kind of stay away from those maps. That's all I can really tell you. I mean, certain builds have certain weaknesses, so I mean, Stampede's only going to do so much damage. I mean, the tooltip, for God's sakes, the tooltip says 3450. Not so good on the tooltip, but that's just that's obviously just a fraction of what's going on, but it's actually doing much more damage than 3500. But you know, I've seen people with their mace swing up to 20-30,000. So Stampede has its limitations. You know, the radius, like I said, you can get this radius a lot bigger, but you make a lot of sacrifices. It is pretty satisfying, though, once you get that radius. Once you get the Stampede radius to, you know, huge, it's pretty satisfying, I'll give you that. But, you know, my goal in this game is not to explode the whole screen. I could care less. I tried the mace strike thing with the cultist great hammer. Spent probably a divine on a cultist great hammer, 550, 600 DPS, and it was okay. Not my favorite playstyle to leap slam around and swing the mace one time. I don't know why. And then I ran into some issues with the with just tanky mobs. The tanky mobs were not exploding. The blue packs, the rare packs, everything was not just dying in one hit. And then it became kind of just a nightmare anyway, so. And then you're just swinging your mace and your hammer of the god. You know, you still have the same hammer of the gods and perfect strike and everything, but man, for some reason, just swinging that mace, the mace strike, it's just it is so boring and terrible for me. I don't know why. I really hate it. I want action. I want to charge and leap and slam around and stuff like that. I do not ever want to just stand there and swing my mace. I don't care how many monsters die. I don't care how, you know, how many exalts I get or what. Oh, here we go. See if I can one-shot this guy. Show you the little hammer tech. Yeah, he's one-shot. That was like the weapon swap hammer tech. It can get squirrely there. I forgot to raise shield there. Just talking too much. I could have easily gotten one shot there with my shield down. So, oh, look at these drops. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty uneventful. It's just a normal T15. I actually like to roll some more challenging ones sometimes just to see, like, just to test. But they get a little bit tedious. They're slow, and like if the monsters don't just die in one stampede like this, it can get tedious. You start to feel like a little bit clunky. But it's still fun. I mean, clunky is not, you know, there's worse things than being clunky. It just seems like everybody's doing that mace thing, and I did it like 3 or 4 days ago. It's old. I mean, the Carnarius guy, he showed that video like 3 or 4 days ago. I saw it. I was one of the first people to view it. I was watching his stuff about Molten Strike anyway. And his Molten Strike is really built. I wouldn't try and compare my warrior to his right away. I mean, he seems to think he's poor and broke and all this, and man, 7,000 life and almost 700 strength, and his resistances are like 85 or something, 90, I don't know. I don't know how you can keep a straight face and say that you can't afford this and can't afford that. I mean, the guy's stuff was worth many divines before divines even hit the inflation sort of arc. Divines hit this inflation arc the other day, and it's just been crazy since then. But he had stuff that was worth divines before divines were even worth divines. I mean, you know, my hammer was this hammer was like 20 exalts, and now you can't get shit for that. So yeah, I would not compare my warrior to his right away. You will become discouraged, because I've put a lot of work into this warrior, and over the course of the week, and I managed to hit 4,000 life, but believe me, it was not just you just put on some random equipment and you get 4,000 life. I had 2,600 for for a very long time. I was stuck at like that 2,800 until I could farm up a bunch of upgrades. So you can expect to get into I was clearing T13, T12 maps with 2,800 life. So I can imagine having 7,000. I just don't know. I think you'd be impervious to most everything at that point. 75 chaos res and 7,000 life. I can't really wrap my mind. I don't know where the life is coming from. I think he has unique jewels. 2% maximum life, unique jewels, which were a couple divines before divines even hit the inflation. So I just can only imagine how much they are now. Anyway, that was Stampede, little T15, kind of boring, but there was no pack size there. No big explosions, really, but, you got to see how I kill an essence, how I kill a boss. The Ignite one-shots the boss. That's not really any sort of tanky special boss, but, 2 million, I forgot to look, but 2.5 million on the Ignite. And it wasn't even over yet. The Ignite goes for almost 9 seconds, so... And then to do an essence, you just pop the hammer, and then you wait a second, and then you pop the essence, and it just one-shots it. So that's the state of the Titan, the Stampede Titan. Strength, life, and armor, and block chance. And then you just worry about your damage. So anyway, that's the state of things. That's a little update.